The Indianapolis Motor Speedway was built in part to be proving grounds for the automobile. Now it also provides an opportunity for young drivers to prove themselves. From the home of the Indianapolis 500, thanks for joining us for our second highlight show of 2014 for the Mazda Road to Indy. I'm Kevin Lee, along with former Indy Lights driver and former Pro Mazda driver, Anders Krohn. Well, Anders, we look back to the first 4 rounds of 2014, starting with the first step, USF 2000. One driver has already separated himself.
R.C. Enerson winning 3 out of 4 races. I don't think anyone could see that coming into the year. He was very, very good towards the end of the year last year, but certainly didn't show any signs of dominance. Then we have Jake Eatson and Florian Latour chasing him hard. Can this be their breakthrough weekend?
Well, in the second step of the ladder, Pro Mazda, one driver has been even more dominant.
Spencer Pigot winning 4 out of 4 races. We're seeing essentially the same from him as we saw with Matthew Brabham last year. I don't know anyone can catch him at this point.
Well, we'll see this weekend if anybody can try to cut into their dominance or if the points championship spreads out even more. 2 rounds here at Indianapolis. We start with round 5 on the newly reconfigured 14-turn road course here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And heavy rain before this race during Verizon IndyCar Series qualifying, but it has stopped and we have wet conditions of it. It will be a drying track as we look at the grid, and a surprise up front. Tim Hollowell, Anders, gets an opportunity to start on the front row.
Tim did such a great job. He's new to the USF 2000 Championship. This is his very first race, and he's getting to start on the front row. Great effort from him and his GBI racing team.
Florian Latour wins the pole, and that is somewhat because of an asterisk, because Heinrich Furuseth and Colton Herta started or qualified first and third, but the J Motorsports teammates were DQ'd just a little bit underweight.
Yeah, it's just a big shame. I mean, these teams are always pushing the limit, trying to be as close to the weight that they can, but they were just a little bit underneath, and you know what? There we have it. They have to start way back in the field.
So 2 very fast cars in the back. Herta, just 14 years old, made his debut back at Barber Motorsports Park. Back onto the 5/8 of a mile front stretch. They won't use quite all of it. Going the opposite direction of the Indianapolis 500. For the first time, USF 2000 is racing at Indy, and we're underway with Florian Latour in the white car getting the early jump. But there we see Franzoni jumping to the inside for a second. Latour is off into the grass.
Oh, these conditions are so tricky. This is going to be the first time that these guys are driving on these wet but drying conditions, as we see Will Owen stop there. But going into the braking zone for turn 1, it's impossible to know exactly what grip level there is, and Florian Latour got caught out.
And another car is off track. Gustavo Mayasava, I think, is who that was, back in the pack.
And it looks like he's pretty buried in the grass there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a full course caution come out here. But as we can see here, Victor Franzoni and Jake Eatson just going at it so hard.
Franzoni on the outside, Edson on the inside, Franzoni in the grass.
People are all over the place here. I mean, they are pushing as if this is the last race they'll ever do in their careers. Franzoni luckily able to get back on the track, much unlike his teammate Gustavo Miyazawa, though.
So we are under full course yellow. This is the replay of the start back in the pack, and that's Will Owen you mentioned turning around. And on board now with the Pabst Racing driver.
Just a slight tap to the right rear of his car, and that's enough to spin him around, as we see Gustavo Miyazawa as well spinning. I'm not sure if he had contact or not, but certainly when you're as buried as that in the gravel, you're going to need someone to pull you out.
That's the 5-6 complex, so they'll have to tow him out. We're under yellow in the early going at USF 2000. Back at Indianapolis for the USF 2000 Championship and the Mazda Road to Indy second quarter highlight show with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee, under yellow, ready to restart now. Lap number 4. It's Jake Edson, Victor Franzoni, Tim Hollowell, Aaron Tielitz, and Peter Portante, single file coming down the main straightaway, heading into the right-hander in turn number 1, and Edson has about a 2-car length gap, but then we see racing back for third position.
Great restart there for Jake Edson. It's so tough to get a jump on this long straightaway here. It's tough not to get past, as we see there, R.C. Enerson trying to make his way up the field. Obviously, here is our points leader, and he's going to be wanting to get back up towards the front here. Struggling a little bit at the moment, though.
And it's a huge points lead for R.C. Enerson, who has won 3 of the 4 coming in. He's 42 points ahead of Jake Edson and Florian Latour, with Victor Franzoni 4th in the championship right now. And that's Franzoni running in second with the green rear wing, the number 17 car. Edson, the white car, number 2. This is turn number 7, the second longest straightaway.
Just look at all this fantastic racing here. 3-4 wide going down the straightaways here. That's why the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is such a good racetrack. It's wide, it's smooth, it's fast. It's everything that these drivers want, and obviously they are going at it.
This has been a fantastic weekend so far, with all 3 steps of the Mazda Road to Indy ladder racing along with the Verizon IndyCar Series. First time IndyCar has raced at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course, and it's a newly redesigned road course.
And this is just proving to us how great the racing here really is. I think everyone had some skepticism going in, whether it was going to be a success, but I think what we're seeing here is just absolutely amazing racing, even though these guys are on rain tires right now on a drying track.
And it was not the team's decision. It was declared by the series that it's going to be a wet race, but now they have the option to come in and change if they want. We see a lot of gray. You've got wet on the inside. You see cars there, Anders, coming to the inside. That's by design.
Yeah, and they're going to the inside there to cool these Cooper tires down. The rain tires are not designed to drive on a dry surface, so what they're doing is they're driving over to find the water to cool these tires down.
And we are told that one has pitted. That was Will Owen, who we saw spin on the opening lap. He started back mid-pack, fell all the way back to 20th. That was last in the running order at the time. And here's a battle for 5th between Peter Portante in the front in the gray car and the red, white, and blue car. That's Austin Cindric, just 15 years old. And ahead of them in the number 10 car, that's Florian Latour. Here's Cindric coming down to the inside, trying to hang on in the wets.
What a great move there from Austin Cindric. He made that stick on the toughest part of the track, which is the wettest part, all the way to the inside there going into turn 7, as we see R.C. Enerson now taking the advantage over Peter Portante as well, but Peter gets that right back. What we're seeing right now is just fantastic racing. These guys are fairly inexperienced race car drivers, but they are on the climb towards the Verizon IndyCar Series, and you can see the hunger as they're out there trying to overtake each other.
Enerson and Latour made a little bit of contact back there as well. And there's Franzoni still up in the front. All right, we mentioned Will Owen coming in early. What kind of gamble is that? Because there's still a lot of wet on this track.
That's a huge gamble, and usually if you don't have any full course cautions where you can catch back up to the field, that's not going to pay off at all. However, if we see another full course caution here, he might have a good chance at this here, because we can see these cars are moving around a lot now. These rain tires on the dry surface, they can certainly do it, but the tires don't like it.
Optimally, I think you'd like to still wait a few more laps, but you want to caution. It's tightening up at the front, Franzoni and Edson. Edson now within about a car length and a half, or maybe 2 car lengths of Franzoni.
These cars just moving around so much, going through the switchback there in turn 5, 6, and now going down the long back straight into turn 7. And we see a huge battle in the back here with Adrian Starantino, Clark Topi, Colton Herta, and Henrik Furuseth. Henrik Furuseth and Colton Herta were obviously disqualified in qualifying, but now charging up through the field again.
Daniel Burkett in the number 4 car. The red car is in the front of that pack. More mixing back in the back. That's what we've seen in especially USF 2000 and also Pro Mazda as well here this weekend. In the Indy cars, it's turn 1 and turn 7 are about the passing opportunities, but there are more with these cars. They're a little bit smaller. There's a little more room to move. This is a battle for 11th we're looking at right here.
as we see Henrik Furuseth looking to the inside of Adrian Starantino there. Classic overtaking maneuver, just outbrakes and makes the pass. And then Colton Herta is going to look to the outside of Adrian Starantino there. Not going to make that stick, obviously, around that corner, but he has a long straightaway here to get that done. And the interesting thing to note here is that Adrian Starantino, Henrik Furuseth, and Colton Herta all competing for the same team, J Motorsports.
Colton Herta, as we mentioned, just recently turned 14 years old, as we see more and more coming down near the pit wall to try to get a little bit of less temperature into their tires, trying to find a little bit of moisture. But Herta did a nice job, finished 7th in the second race at Barber. There we see him in that blue and white car, mixing it up with Starantino with black on the side pods. He's the son of, obviously, a former IndyCar driver, Brian Herta, the owner of his own team in IndyCar racing, which won the Indianapolis 500 in 2011 with Dan Weldon.
And he's doing just a great job. But you know who I'm looking at right behind Colton Herta is Will Owen. He's looking to the outside of Colton Herta right now. This
the
could
white
be a very
23
interesting
car.
move.
The white 23 car just now making the left-hander in turn number 7.
As we see a lot of battles here through the field. Clark Topi, which had a good run here just a couple laps ago, falling back now just a little bit. And it's so crucial when you have a drying track like this to get the tire temperature and the tire pressures right. If your team overshoots the tire pressure, you're going to fall back really quickly as the track dries up.
Well, look at the difference between the slicks and the wet Cooper tires as Owen makes his way through the field. Here's the battle up front, meanwhile. Franzoni, Edson, both come down to find the moisture. Edson in the white car behind.
That is.
He's looking to the outside.
What an interesting move here. Let's see if he can make that stick. He is on the drier part of the track right now, which gives him better grip for the braking zone. But Franzoni doing what Brazilians do so well, which is drive aggressively and drive defensively. Very nice move, not outside the rule book, but certainly very aggressive.
So Franzoni maintains the advantage, but Edson is charging. He stays within a half a car length.
And this battle is actually allowing Aaron Tillich here in 3rd spot to catch up to them just ever so slightly. Maybe he can challenge for the lead.
Tillich in that black car in the 3rd position. Back in the 4th position, there's Florian Latour we saw for a moment in the white car. Turn number 7 coming up. Edson looks to the inside, can't get him this time. We'll keep an eye on this one. Stay with us. The racing has been fantastic here after 8 laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in USF 2000. Grand Prix of Indianapolis weekend with the entire Mazda Road to Indy ladder and a challenge for the lead. That's Edson on the outside, Franzoni on the inside in the black and green car. Around turn number 1, Edson tried it a couple of laps ago. It didn't stick. This time, Anders, it looks like it will.
He did a great job there. He tried for that move a couple of laps there. Couldn't quite make it stick, but this time he just made it happen. And Franzoni played that really smart. He challenged Edson as much as he could, but didn't play unfair.
Lap number 11 of 18. Both of these cars still on the Cooper tire, wet tires with the grooves.
Edson was so late on the brakes there. You could just see his car dancing through that turn 1 and 2 complex. And now Franzoni is going to get a challenge here from Aaron Tillich is what it looks like.
And Florian Latour there in the white car, 4th position. Then we go back to Austin Cindric there in the white, red, and blue car with a great run in 5th. And there's Will Owen. We think he's the only one on the slicks. And he's up to 8th position. He was back in 20th. More challenging through the twisty parts for him at this point, although this is mostly dry here.
It is mostly dry, but the tricky stuff is when you're on the racing line, it's completely dry, and that's not an issue at all. But the tough thing for him is he's going to have to make a lot of these overtakes on a wet surface, so that's going to make it really tough. But as we can see, obviously, he's got the pace here, and just in a corner here, he's pulled out a 3-4 car length advantage over RC Inderson, and he is coming fast. He is catching now Peter Portante as his next victim.
And he just has to hang on through the wet parts, and then right here, let's see what he does on this main straightaway with a dry track. He'll stay on the outside. Some of the others may duck down to the inside. We are on board with Will Owen.
What a move there from Will Owen. As you can see, he is passing these guys with ease. It's as if he's in a Verizon IndyCar Series car at the moment. Now looking at Austin Cindric here. And you know what? They did the timing so well on putting on slicks with him. They had that full course caution. He came into the pits, put slicks on. I think he's going to be challenging for the top spot here pretty soon.
Well, they had nothing to lose. They had spun. They were all the way in the back working on Austin Cindric. Right now, Holman Boulevard, the second longest straightaway. It comes in to a left-hander. We saw Peter Portante back there, and this is for 5th position.
And yet another pass there for Will Owen. He is just flying, and what a great call from the whole Pabst Racing group with Tonys Kasmets as his strategist there for calling him in. It's a bold move, and it's tough to make that decision as the first guy in the pits and say, look, we're going to come in, we're going to roll the dice. But obviously, it is working to their advantage, and Will Owen is on track here to have his best finish ever.
You mentioned Tonys Kasmets. That's a name people remember. He is a driver of a significant amount of renown. He's driven in the Champ Car Series. He's driven Indy Lights races as recently as a few years ago, sports cars. Will Owen is just 19 years old from Castle Rock, Colorado. His best finish this season is 6th in the second race at St. Pete. He finished 11th and 14th at Barber and 18th in the first race of the season.
And he is new to USF 2000 racing, so what he's on track to do in here is just amazing. As we see now, Jake Edson has actually pulled up a pretty big gap on Franzoni, and I'm wondering if that can come down to these tire pressures we were talking about earlier. It's vital when you have a drying track to not go too high with your tire pressures, because it will cook the tires. It will boil those Cooper tires. But obviously it's looking like Edson, at least for being on wets, he's doing a pretty good job right now.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all together right now. And the battle for 2nd here with Franzoni and Telitz right behind him. Telitz in the 5 cars looking to the outside on Holman Boulevard.
And it's such a long run there down towards turn 7. He's going to try that classic outside move there by outbraking Franzoni, and he gets it done. What a move from Aaron Telitz. Great stuff there.
And Will Owen looking to the inside of Latour, coming around turn number 8 through there. That's not normally a passing opportunity. Still side by side. That's for 4th position. And Owen will sneak ahead of Latour. So Will Owen is up to 4th from the back all the way to 4th position. And there's still time to get this done.
Yet another pass. And the key for Will Owen here is to play it cool, because he's so much quicker than anyone else on the track right now. It's easy to become impatient, but he just needs to play this cool, and you know what? He's doing a great job right now.
3rd place now as he goes around Franzoni. There's Telitz in 2nd. Here comes Will Owen. He's so much faster. This is going to be simple on the main straightaway.
Look at this. It doesn't even matter what Telitz is going to try to do here. Will Owen is going to blow right by him, and coming into the brake zone here, Owen should have a clear distance ahead of Telitz, and he does indeed. And now the question is, how quickly can he catch up to the leader?
So Will Owen is up to 2nd, the only one of the leaders on the Cooper Tire slicks.
And you can just see the whole behavior of his car is the way you want a car on slicks to be. It doesn't move around as much. It brakes very well. It just grips up.
And there's Victor Franzoni, an early leader. He comes in for the slicks, but is it too late? Will Owen is chasing down Jake Eatson here at Indianapolis. Working on lap 14 of 18 of round 5 of the US F2000 Championship in our Mazda Road to Indy second quarter highlight show with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee. It is a drying track here today. Heavy rain before the race, but it has not rained since we started, and that's Will Owen in the white 23 car there, who is charged from the back. He was the only one that changed to slicks early on. There's Jake Edson, the leader. He's still on the Cooper tire wets with the grooves, and Will Owen is charging.
Will Owen has just charged through the field and has done a great job at doing that. As we see now, he is going to be catching up to Jake Edson here any second. And
Edson
Jake
has no
is
chance.
Just hanging on for dear life here at the moment. As we can see here, Will Owen trying to set up the pass. Going to try for the outside going through turn 14. There are some damp spots there, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. But now we're going to have that long straightaway running down towards turn 1, and he will no doubt take the lead here. And I'd be shocked if we didn't see him pull away at this point.
14 laps complete. Will Owen leads at Indianapolis. His best finish this season in his first season is 6th. Edson not done yet, though.
Edson really challenging on the outside there, inside, sorry, but now we're going to see Will Owen just pull away here. He's got no one in front of him. He has a clear racetrack, and it's dry. That's just to his liking at the moment.
There are still wet spots, but they are not where you need to be. The groove is going to be totally dry, so Will Owen, barring a mistake, and that's the key now. He still has to make sure he makes it through the rest of the way, but he can be very conservative because he's going to be several seconds faster than these guys.
There is no doubt, and he is going to just pull away here with ease. But I still think we have some exciting parts to watch here a little bit further back in the field with Jake Edson trying to hold off Aaron Tellage there. Like we talked about, these rain tires don't like to be driven on a dry surface, so they will be very abused towards the end of this race. And the question is, who's been able to save and conserve their tires better than others? They could be in a position to pass here for a top spot. And even if the first spot is taken and gone at this point, there's still lots of points to play for towards the end of the race here.
And remember, we also saw Victor Franzoni come in and get these slicks, but the problem was that it was under caution. All right, it was under a green, so he's got a long way to catch up to the rest of the pack, even if he is faster. And that's what everyone else was likely hoping for. We saw the yellow on lap 1, and if we would have gotten another yellow at any time, I'm guessing most of the field would have come in, but the yellow never came again.
Exactly, and unfortunately what Franzoni's done here is he's having a good shot at getting a good starting spot for the next race, because this is essentially the qualifying for the next race. However, he's now lost any chance of a top spot in this race.
The 97, that's Clark Topey, who gets around Florian Latour, and that is for 4th position. Topey in the black and blue car.
Topey doing a great job, and he's been so strong this year. He had his rookie year in USF 2000 last year with JDC Motorsports, came back with the same team this year, a very strong group indeed, and now doing a great job of climbing through the field.
Well, here's some pedigree here. Colton Herta in the 98 car, Austin Cindric in the 77. We mentioned Herta's dad at Brian Herta Autosport. Austin Cindric's dad runs Team Penske, Tim Cindric. And both very, very young drivers. Austin is still 15, Colton 14. Peter Portante looking to go to the inside of Cindric there. That's him in the gray car. Portante, 18 years old from Connecticut with Arms Up Motorsports.
That was a great move around the outside there in turn 7. Made that stick through the 8, 9, 10 complex. A really, really tough back-to-back-to-back segment on the track now. And now we have R.C. Enerson going to be looking to Austin Cindric. And it looks like Austin's dropping back pretty quickly here. So they might have overshot on those tire pressures, because he is dropping quickly and was obviously very strong in the beginning of the race.
A lot of people would like to see more Americans make their way up to IndyCar racing. Every driver we see in this shot, Americans, teenage Americans. Clark Topey, we mentioned a moment ago, is from Texas. He's just 16 years old. They still want the best in the world, and that's part of it. To be recognized as a great American driver, you need to beat the best, and I think they've got a good mix going, because we're still seeing the great drivers around the world attracted to this series. There's R.C. Enerson going to the inside around Cindric to get to, I think that's 8th position.
And I just saw exiting pit lane there, one of the Bilardi Auto Racing cars exiting the pits on slick. So he's going to be trying to throw down one lap to qualify for the second race. But obviously, in doing so, he's given away any chance of a good result here. Oh,
Whoa.
that was tight. Victor Franzoni actually cutting across the track. He's going to have to give up those 2 spots now, and is doing so because he gained an advantage by cutting that chicane.
Well, he's one of those that did come in and pit for the slicks early on. He just needs to be patient here. He's going to be faster than these guys. He is in 10th position right now, and there is our leader, Will Owen. How much is he checked out now? He's going to see the white this time around.
And he is just on a Saturday afternoon cruise here at the moment. He has no one in his sights, either forward or backwards. He is going to cruise to his big first victory here in the USF 2000 Championship, barring any mechanical issues. But the Pabst Racing Group have done an astonishing job here putting together this program for Will Owen this year. And you know what? Where better to win your first race than at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
The AMR on the side stands for American Medical Response. Will Owen is from Castle Rock, Colorado. He is just 19 years old. He has driven some cars, but still was driving karts at times last year. He did 9 Formula Mazda races last year with 3 wins. He says, I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I just really like driving as fast as possible.
Hey, and
he's doing it today. He's doing it
nothing
about
wrong with that.
4 seconds quicker than anybody else among the leaders because he's on those Cooper Tire slick tires. They made the right call coming in and taking the slicks after they got turned. So their misfortune turned into great fortune because had he not turned, they might have stuck on the same strategy with everyone else.
And this just comes to show racing is a team sport. You may only see the driver out there on the track, but this truly is a team sport. Had it not been for the Pabst Racing Group here deciding to bring him in on lap 4 of the race, he would have not been winning this race right now. So great testament to how much of a team sport this really is.
Well, he's more than 15 seconds in front of Jake Edson now. Aaron Telitz is running third, but it's Will Owen who makes the early call to pit for the slicks, and in the drying track, Will Owen is a winner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in USF 2000.
Huge win for this young gentleman, and no doubt a huge boost as well for the Pabst Group.
Owen wins it officially by 15.9 seconds. Edson finishes second, Telitz third, Latour fourth, and look at Colton Herta. He's the Tilton Hard Charger Award winner. He gained 17 spots, DQ'd. Underweight, he goes from 22nd to 5th, but the day belongs to Will Owen celebrating in victory lane at Indy.
I got turned in turn 1, and then right before the race started, I came in, put on slick tires, went out, and I was faster than everybody else out there. So I just drove a safe race, passed everybody, and it ended up good. I couldn't believe it. I mean, at one point in the race, when I could see the front guys, I was like, I know I can do this. I just have to keep it together, and I'll have my first win. And this is only my 3rd race, so I'm very excited. I'm amazed. I came into this weekend looking to learn as much as I possibly could. You know, I was hoping to get some really good results, and then this happened. It's going great so far.
And Will Owen was an easy pick for the Replay XD move of the race. His pass on the outside of Jake Edson for the lead near the end of lap number 14. And the next day, under beautiful conditions, race number 2 at Indianapolis, Adrian Starantino gets the win on the road course at Indy. Latour, Franzoni, Topi also with good runs, and Henrik Furuseth wins the Tilton Hard Charger Award, moving up 15 spots. He started 20th, gets all the way to 5th. And there is your full field rundown for race number 2, round number 6 of the 2014 USF 2000 Championship. Starantino celebrating with the podium at Indianapolis, and here's the championship. R.C. Henderson had won 3 of the first 4. His lead was 42 points coming into the weekend. Still pretty comfortable, but it's now 21 with Latour now in the mix. All right, we're going to get to the Pro Mazda Championship from Indy coming up next. Indianapolis for our quarterly recap for the Mazda Road to Indy with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee, and it's race 1 of 2 this weekend for Pro Mazda, the Allied Building Products Grand Prix of Indianapolis, step 2 on the Mazda Road to Indy ladder. And here is how they lined up. They started with Spencer Pigot winning his 4th pole of the season. Scott Hargrove on the outside, Blackstock and Grist in 2, Durrani and Kaiser in row number 3, and you can see the rest of the field. Good conditions for this event, and everybody is trying to beat Spencer Pigot. He has won the first 4 races this season. They accelerate out of turn number 14 on the main straightaway. Here we go, that's Pigot in the green car on the inside, but he has lost a couple of positions. And Scott Hargrove moves to the front.
This is just what we've seen at this track. The drafting is so vast here, and Pigot just got swallowed up by that field, falling all the way back to 6th or 7th. See some troubles here with, I think that's Pipo Durrani. Pipo Durrani just got spun there. Not sure what happened there, but clearly they were all trying to go 2-3 wide going into that corner, and that is a tough one.
There were 5 wide going into turn number 1, and that's Bobby Eberle, one of the expert class drivers in the 13 blue and white car. So that's going to bring out a yellow. That was Pipo Durrani in one of the Pelfrey cars. That's him in the 81 we saw up at the front there. And then back in the pack, we've got issues. Whoa, at the very back, Eberle got airborne and turned. So certainly 2 separate incidents involving Durrani and Eberle. This is Durrani just a little bit wide, and then he got bumped off a little bit more. Maybe that was Garrett Grist. No, that would have been Blackstock in front there that he might have made contact with. And this is on board with Eberle. Trying to squirt to the inside, and he just gets up inside of Jason Rabe, another one of the expert class drivers. That's Rabe going around.
What a messy start there. Everyone clearly going for the lead early on here. Great move from Michelle Bumgarner initially, but she just gets squeezed out into the gravel there. But just a great shame for Pipo Durrani as well. He had a great start on the outside, and then it just looked to me like he overshot the entry to turn 1 a little bit and ran wide with Shelby Blackstock there. But clearly no one holding back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, Scott Hargrove got out of there unscathed, and he is the leader with Alberico, Kaiser, Blackstock, and Booth all chasing in Pro Mazda at Indy. Back in Indianapolis, the Pro Mazda Championship, the first of 2 races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course, working lap number 4 now, and we're ready for a restart after they all got wadded up in turn number 1 at the start. Scott Hargrove, much cleaner this time. He is the leader with Alberico chasing, Kyle Kaiser, Shelby Blackstock, and Ryan Booth from 10th to 5th. And they come through much better this time around through turn number 1, now in the 2-3 complex.
That looked a lot better indeed, and they were just crazy on lap 1 going into turn 1. It was as if they all wanted to win the race here, as we see Alberico sneaking by. Scott Hargrove making a very uncharacteristic mistake for him. He's usually so good at not making mistakes, but here clearly getting caught out by the pressure.
And that is a mistake, because that is not a passing opportunity, but Alberico was there and ready to pounce into turn number 7 now, and another pass for position as Blackstock gives up a spot. But let's go back to the pass for the lead now. On board with Alberico.
Hargrove just went in to protect and just overshot the braking zone. Very, again, uncharacteristic for him. He usually keeps it very clean, but great job for Neil Alberico there, putting on the pressure and being able to take that spot.
And we saw Ryan Booth a moment ago getting around Blackstock. That's Booth in the number 19 blue and white car.
Great job for Ryan Booth there. He comes from the Prototype Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires. So he's driven a car with Cooper Tires before, but this is his rookie year in the Pro Mazda Championship. Doing a great job here, currently running in that third spot as we see Kyle Kaiser and Jose Gutierrez fighting it out, those two Juncos Racing teammates.
And we saw Brandon Newey, who started 14th, who is up into the top 10. Here's on board with Kyle Kaiser.
This is going to be interesting here going into turn one here. This is a big funnel effect. You come from this long, wide straightaway into this super sharp corner. Kaiser manages to get that spot and is now looking at the tail end of Brandon Newey, who's also had a great start.
He got around Jose Gutierrez, the 17-year-old from Mexico with Juncos Racing, and now working on Brandon Newey. That's Newey in the yellow car up ahead. And this is the battle for 6th. There's Kaiser in the 18 car.
It looks like Kaiser has a good run here. Will he be able to pop out? It doesn't look like he's quite close enough. Nope, Brandon Newey is going to hold on to that spot as we see Dalton Kellett with a huge move on Garrett Grist. He came out of nowhere. Garrett Grist did not see him coming. Now Garrett's also going to get swallowed up by Spencer Piggott. And Spencer, this is a huge upset. He started on the pole, but he's way in the back of the field right now.
He was back to 5th or 6th by the time we got to turn number 1. He, as far as I know, made it through unscathed, although I'm not sure very many got through without at least some contact. But Piggott had won the first 4 races in dominating fashion, had won the pole in 4 of the 5, but now he's just trying to make his way through, but he does have time to get it done here.
This is going to change his mindset entirely. He's used to being out front, just pulling away from the field, but now he's actually having to fight his way through the field as we now see him looking at Dalton Kellett back there trying to make that pass.
Alberico out front. Here's Kellett on board with him.
Try and tuck into that draft. He's going to play it smart here, just going to tuck in behind Jose Gutierrez there. Not going to try for that pass right there as we see he's still getting up to speed but doing a good job so far.
Kellett, 20 years old, from Toronto with Team Pelfrey. Newey in the yellow car, the 82, trying to hold off Kaiser. That's for 6th position.
And Kaiser will not be content with this. He has had podium positions before this year and is going to want to get back up there.
Kyle Kaiser is just 18 years old from Santa Clara, California. On board with him now around turn number 7. The right-hander in 8. This is a fun section. 9. It's difficult to pass there, but it's important to be quick through there because this sets up another run where maybe you can pass going into turn number 12.
Such a fast and flowing segment of the track, and all the drivers say that that is their favorite part of the track. When you get that right, it feels amazing. And as we saw there, Kaiser had a good run out of there, but couldn't quite get it done into turn 12 as we see Brandon Newey able to uphold that pressure.
But he is staying within range, and then the next opportunity is to get a good run off of 14, and then you've got that nearly 5/8 of a mile front stretch to try to draft him down there and make the pass going into 1, and you can go inside or outside here.
And he's got the perfect draft right there. He's going to try and suck up in the air right behind Brandon Newey there, going to pull out to the outside. He's going to have to be really aggressive on the brakes here to get that done, and he is able to get that done. Overtaking, but no, he runs wide. He must have braked so late there trying to make that pass stick on Brandon Newey, and now he's going to get pressure from his teammate, Jose Gutierrez.
So Gutierrez taking a look at Kaiser now. And there's Piggott as well in the 7 car, getting around Kellett for 9. So Spencer Piggott trying to pick his way back to the front as we go down Holman Boulevard now.
Piggott is on a charge. He is, again, not used to seeing that many cars in front of him, so he's going to be charging hard here towards the front as we see Pipo Durrani looking to the inside of his Team Pelfrey teammate, Dalton Kellett, but luckily pulls out of that one. That's the one thing you don't want to see as a team owner is 2 teammates taking each other out, and certainly Mr. Dale Pelfrey would not want to see 2 yellow cars in the gravel trap at this point in the race.
Well, Brandon Newey in 5th is leading this long pack of cars. That's Pipo Durrani back there in the yellow car, and then Garrett Grist is right behind him, and now we have an off, and that is Michelle Bumgardner. Let's see if we can find another look at this as to what happened to Bumgardner. On board now.
She's going through that 8, 9, 10 segment. I have no idea what happened there. That was a very weird incident. That's not typically a place where you go off the track.
And then a separate incident here. That's Kyle Connery, who got into the back of Julia Bellario. So Connery with some front wing damage. He is off. Stay with us. We'll continue from Indianapolis, where Neil Alberico leads. With Anders Krohn, I'm Kevin Lee. We are under yellow, round 5 of the Pro Mazda Championship at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We went back to green after the lap 8 yellow, but immediately went back to yellow. Let's take a look at what's going on. Alberico out front in the 2-car, Hargrove, and then Ryan Booth trying to go to the inside for second position, and he actually makes contact with the leader there, Alberico, and Booth goes around, and that's significant damage.
Wow, that was some aggressive racing right there. You can see Booth just wanting to get that spot from Hargrove, but completely underestimates the braking zone there for turn 7. Just overshoots it and hits hard. I am shocked to not see more damage on Alberico's car from that, because that was a vicious hit.
And there's Spencer Piggott, who had worked his way up, fought all the way back, got back up to 7th, but he has damage there, and he's going to have to come in.
Piggott there, as we can see, with a new nose now. That was a vicious impact as well, hitting Pipo Durrani right in the rear tire, clearly getting caught out by that yellow there.
And we had rain earlier, and we may see rain again today, so trying to get it done before the weather comes again. Ready to restart. Lap 15, scheduled 20, but time is likely going to be a factor. And here's Hargrove trying to go around to the outside of Alberico. Hargrove with the blue in the front wing in the 3-car. Alberico holds him up momentarily. They touch. The 2 leaders touch, and Alberico gets clobbered again, and Blackstock moves into second position.
Wow, there is no love lost between these Cape Motorsports with Wayne Taylor Racing teammates. That was Alberico and Hargrove hitting each other going through turn 2. That was incredibly hard racing. Great shame for Neil Alberico, who was on track there to potentially have his first win, but now all the way back in 3rd.
Kaiser also with some contact there with Alberico. I'm not sure he had anywhere to go. Brandon Newey takes a look to the inside of Kaiser. Not going to happen there.
Look at this racing. I can't believe it. I mean, these guys are racing as if there's no points championship to think of whatsoever. It's great for us as spectators, but for the teams, they must be shaking their heads right now, wondering what the heck they're up to.
You know, we've talked about points, and that is the predominant factor in this championship, because the champion is guaranteed money to move up to Indy Lights, but they're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Points may be on the back burner right now.
And it just looks to me like they've forgotten entirely about the points here, because just like you say, this is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But you're quite right. Pro Mazda is part on the Mazda Road to Indy, which means that the winner gets a paid ride in the Indy Lights Championship going up into the next year. So huge support from Mazda and Cooper Tires for this series, and obviously these drivers want to prove that they are the next up-and-coming star in automobile racing.
Well, first we look at Blackstock being challenged for second position. That's Hargrove in first, Alberico in third, and then we've got contact back in the back. Kaiser and Costa. That was Costa in the 99 car that lost the rear wing. That's him right there, Nicholas Costa, 22-year-old Brazilian.
It just looked to me like Kyle Kaiser drilled Costa from behind. I'm not sure what happened there, but that just looked to me like Kaiser took Costa out just clean and simple.
Well, Hargrove is checked out on Blackstock. We're still green the rest of the way around the course. Alberico looking to the outside in 7, won't get him, but let's take another look at what happened here going into turn number 1. Back in the pack a little bit. That's Kaiser in the gray car.
Oh, and Kaiser just pulled out to get a better line going into turn 1. Underestimated where the attenuator is on Costa's car and just drills him, sideswipes the rear end and turns him right around. Look at this. Oh!
It looked like that Costa had already started to brake and Kaiser didn't expect him to
wow,
brake there.
That is a big mistake there from Kyle Kaiser, and I'd be surprised if we don't see a penalty for him towards the end of the race here.
That's for second position. Blackstock still being challenged by Alberico.
Blackstock doing everything he can at this point in time to hold off Alberico. Alberico is clearly quicker, as we see now Kyle Kaiser getting the run as well. These guys are going to try and tuck into the draft here and go for a pass. Such a long straightaway, the longest straightaway we have on any of the road courses that Pro Mazda goes to this year. Such a long run. What can they do here going into turn 1?
Last time around didn't go very well for Kyle Kaiser. He's going to take a peek to the inside again, battling for third position, side by side, nearly touching with Alberico. No contact, and they get through cleanly, and Alberico maintains that third position.
Kyle Kaiser being just an aggressive animal here at the moment, but that's allowing Shelby Blackstock to pull away here from Neil Alberico, and as we see, we can't even see Scott Hargrove out in the distance. He's pulled away so far in just a couple of laps.
The 19-year-old from Vancouver, Scott Hargrove, looking for his first win in Pro Mazda. He was the champion last year in USF 2000, winning 4 times. There he is. Late stages of the race. It is going to become a timed race, 35 minutes. We're not going to get to the 20 laps, but we're going to come close.
This is going to be a huge win for Scott Hargrove. He's been chasing Spencer Pickett so hard in the opening 4 rounds of the championship, being on the podium, finishing second, always being right there. But this could be his big breakthrough win, and also it would allow him to catch up massively in the championship. 2
of the Pelfrey cars battling for position. That's Kellett in the 80, Newey behind him in the 82, and here's the white flag for the final time. Scott Hargrove with a very comfortable advantage, way out in front of the red and black car of Shelby Blackstock, the son of country music legend Reba McEntire. And this will also be a really good result for Shelby Blackstock, as we see Dalton Kellett looking for a pass there on Kyle Kaiser, not quite pulling that off, but this is going to be a good result for Shelby Blackstock. He's had a bit of a struggle so far this year. We know he's got the pace, but it's just been a matter of he hasn't quite put it together, but this will be a great result for him. You mentioned Kaiser still running in 4th, but after that significant contact, which appeared to be his issue, we'll wait and see if there's a penalty, but it happened too late in the race. They may have to wait until after the race is over to deal with that. Here's Alberico taking a peek going into 7 on Blackstock, not close enough there. Meanwhile, up front, Hargrove, just a few turns to go, headed back onto the oval portion of this course. Hargrove is just cruising, and he's doing such a good job as a rookie in the Pro Mazda Championship. He won the USF 2000 Championship last year and went into Pro Mazda as a rookie this year with the same team he ran with last year, Cape Motorsports, with Wayne Taylor Racing, and has just done an astonishing job in learning this car and is now on track to win. Scott Hargrove in control, looking to win for the first time in Pro Mazda. Checkered flag is out, and Hargrove is going to do it at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Scott Hargrove has won the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, the Allied Building Products GP of Indy. Hargrove wins, Blackstock comes in 2nd position, then Alberico, Kellett, and Brandon Newey is the Quartermaster Hard Charge Reward winner from 14th to 5th. Let's hear now from the winner.
Inaugural race at Indianapolis, I can't believe it. That was so much fun. I mean, this place is so good for racing, the amount of passing that you get to do. My nose is all busted up. I think there was contact with like three or four cars in that race. I mean, that was just the hardest racing that I've ever been in. Can't thank the Cape Motorsports guys enough. I mean, we've made huge strides, and to now be at the front in the winner's circle, that's amazing. So just super thankful for Mazda Speed, everything they've done, giving me this opportunity at Alex Systems, and I'm just super excited to be here, and what a cool way to get some points back in the championship.
And now the Replay XD move of the race. It's Scott Hargrove moving into the lead on the last restart, getting around Neil Alberico. Two teammates racing clean together. And then on Saturday of Grand Prix weekend, Scott Hargrove did it again, sweeping the two races with Alberico again finishing in the second position. Nice run for Jose Gutierrez as well. The Quartermaster Hard Charger Award goes to Jason Ray, moved up 10 spots from 19th until 9th. There was some rain throughout the weekend in Indianapolis, but two excellent Pro Mazda races. So after 6 of 14, with Lucas Oil Raceway coming up next, Spencer Pigot has his lead significantly cut. It was 41, now it is down to 5. So it's been a fun weekend, a great weekend at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Raceway is up next. Stay with us for more recap shows throughout the season here. For Anders Crone, I'm Kevin Lee. Thanks for watching us on NBCSN.